welcome to another Points of Interest with host Joey Traina, or as they know me on Facebook sometimes, J-Train. We're very happy to have you here today. June 13th is this episode, so you might be catching us on a repeat here. But either way, if you catch us online, if you catch us on Facebook, if you catch us on YouTube, if you catch us on Comcast, or you on-demand us, we love to have you watching. Today is going to be an incredible show. We have a wonderful artist on, BrothaTrav, again on his job, brought us Passionate, and she's going to do another live performance. Only our second live guitar performance, but the first one here at VIPs. If you are used to the old format or the old studio, you'll be more than, I hope you're excited to see that this new studio is what we have, and it gets bigger and better every week. Now, if you are in the production business and you want to get something shot or you want something recorded, VIPs may be a good place for you to look up. I got to say, they got pretty good prices, and I may decide to lay some tracks here myself. I don't know, I may have to do my own release party on Points of Interest. We'll see. Anyway, let's get right to it, because today we are featuring the politics part. A couple weeks we've been doing the people and the pop culture, but as you know, Points of Interest tagline is people, politics, pop culture. Today we're going to definitely get into the state legislature. I've got Representative Ernie Smith on today, and let me get him on camera here, okay? We're going to switch right over. Representative Ernie Smith, thank you for putting up with my little monologue there. Thank you for being on the show. I'm really excited to get into what we're going to talk about. I've been running into you at a couple events here in the past.
Yes, you have.
And we decided that it was best to get what's going on in the legislature on this show. So thank you for being that vessel for us. You're really keeping in touch. Now, before we get into that, I do want to say it was a pleasure to run into you at the dedication, the bridge dedication.
Yes.
For Lieutenant General Robert Gray.
Yes.
You guys maybe know the bridge, or have known the bridge as the 5th Street Bridge, or the Walton Way Bridge at the end to where Walton turns into Gordon Highway. Now and forevermore, that bridge will be known as Lieutenant General Robert E. Gray Bridge. And it's and because he was a bridge. He definitely was
Truly.
A bridge. He was the very first Lieutenant General of Fort Gordon. I'm sorry, very first African-American Lieutenant General over there, the leader of the fort. And for him to be the first black leader over there in this city, in this state, to be able to hold on to that, and for us to commemorate him, I mean, to honor him is really to strive for a potential in all of us that exists there, partly because of great men like him. I was honored to have known him while I did. Unfortunately, he did pass last November in a car accident. But part of remembering him is honoring him because of the great accomplishments that he did. And so look him up and enjoy the drive across the bridge every morning if you take that. I know I do, and I remember it every day. So anyway, I ran into you there. Then the last place I ran into you was the Democratic Party meeting, which was last, I guess it was last Wednesday at the headquarters.
Yes.
Democratic Party headquarters on Green Street, 11th and Green. And you really shed a light on some very important things that are going on. Now, people may have heard of this charter school bill that's up, or actually now it's a constitutional amendment.
Yes.
So the legislature's trying to get us to vote for something, to say yes or no, so that they can change the Constitution or amend the Constitution. But they're saying it's about charter schools.
Yes.
What is it really about?
It's not about charter schools. It's about having the right to change the Constitution, amend the Constitution in any form or fashion that you choose to do. And the caveat is that if the word only were there, it would be about charter schools, but the word only is not there. Therefore, if you vote yes for this constitutional amendment, you're giving the majority party in the state of Georgia, in the Georgia General Assembly, the right to do anything they choose to do to the Constitution of the state of Georgia. Now, it's interesting, J-Train, what has come up is that over the years, what they've come to understand is that if there is controversial legislation that you need to get passed, and if it does not bode well for the people, you have to find a way to give it to the people whether they don't exactly understand what you're trying to do. And that's basically what this is. And so this is why we must be about the business of understanding that this is not about charter schools. It's about giving the majority party in the state of Georgia the right to change the Constitution any way they see fit.
Right. Now, I've read this especially, it comes down to basically a couple words in this amendment. It says, and we'll put it up on the screen for you there, shall the Constitution of Georgia be amended to allow state or local approval of public charter schools upon the request of local communities. Now, when we get into legislation, when we get into writing of legislation, the words are very important.
Absolutely.
And so what we're seeing here now is the word only, or rather the absence of the word only, is really changing what this is, what you said, like what we are actually voting on here. Now, were it to say only after charter schools, public charter schools, then this amendment would be only in reference to charter schools.
Absolutely.
But another way to read this is, because only is not there, would be, shall the Constitution of Georgia be amended upon the request of local communities?
Yes.
So because again, it really shows that it's not about public charter schools. It's about amending the Constitution. It's about being able to do whatever they want to do, like you said. And it's because, and the majority party in now is the GOP, is the Republican Party, which is interesting because, you know, charter schools, now we talk about the education debate across the nation and across the state as well, when we talk about vouchers and we talk about, you know, constant cuts in public schools. Now, charter seems like a good middle ground there, but unfortunately, and maybe you can better explain how this got all started, but, and I went to charter schools, you know, they can be great. They can be a good place where people get involved, but unfortunately, there's no reprimand for charter schools if they don't if they don't meet or exceed, you know, the idea is, the intent is for charter schools to do better than other schools in the area. But when they don't do better, there's no reprimand for that. So how did this, so tell us again, how did this get?
The genesis of this was a couple of years ago. There were 8 charter schools in the Atlanta region that were not living up to their mandates and their mission expectations. And therefore, they were not given the approval to go forward by the boards of education in the Atlanta region. Well, they weren't satisfied with this, so what they did was to file a lawsuit and petition to have this go to the Georgia Supreme Court. This did go to the Georgia Supreme Court, and they subsequently lost that case. But they were not satisfied with what the Georgia Supreme Court said with siding with the boards of education. So they went to the legislature, and with this being, these charter schools being in a majority conservative regions, primarily Republican, the Georgia legislature being primarily Republican majority, they decided to find a way to craft a strategy to bring this forward to appear that this is for charter schools, but actually we can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. We can get something even better. We can actually amend the Constitution and give us the right to do anything we need to do within the Constitution. Just tell the people of Georgia who are starving for a way to help their kids get educated, help their kids to find the best mode of education. How can we kill 2 birds with 1 stone? We'll put charter schools out there, but actually what we'll do is have them amend the Constitution, because we already have charter schools here in the state and in Augusta.
You know, it seems glossy, it's got a nice finish, seems to be about the kids or about charter schools or about better schools, but charter schools aren't really all that hindered in the state as is. And we shouldn't necessarily make it easier for anybody to just start a school. I mean, there has to be a set of requirements and various responsibilities, because when you don't go to charter schools, you don't want, or when you choose not, or for whatever reason at charter schools, you don't want to essentially make it easier for those who do go to charter schools to have the cake and eat it too, to be able to rely on public funds, even though it is a more private entity. But so, in another sense, I'm actually reading where leaders in the state of education don't even, this isn't even good legislation on the issue of charter schools.
Absolutely not. So, absolutely not. Boards of education are categorically opposed to this. It's not about being in control, it's about getting a best quality of education for our children. And they understand that this constitutional amendment has nothing to do with education. This is all about a power grab. And it's a concentrated plan that's been foisted on the entire Southeast. As you know, in South Carolina, they have this constitutional amendment already passed. And right after that, 3 weeks ago, the governor of South Carolina signed a mandate so that homeschool kids can now participate in all extracurricular activities in the public school system. Football, basketball, track and field, all the other activities. So they're having a cake and eating it too, without the requirements of being under the responsibilities of the public school systems.
Gotcha.
And see, this is
that's
where
a real world application there.
Absolutely.
Of how, so we can start to see the detrimental effects of passage of legislation like this.
To give you an example of how important this is so that people can really feel it, and I want our public to understand, House Bill 87 was passed this past year, which was an immigration bill, a draconian immigration bill, and I call it the ultimate hypocrisy. But once that bill was passed, what many people didn't know that 25 additional changes were added after the bill's passage, because when it was passed, the legislature, which was majority Republican, did not have to come back to the Democrats or the public to let them know that they were adding additional negative stuff in there that would impact quality of life.
It was already hotly debated. It was already legislation that actually seek to, if not mirror, at least ride the wave of the anti-immigrant sentiment from legislation that you probably may have heard of on the national stage come from Arizona.
Yes.
And so House Bill 87 in Georgia was sort of our answer to, or the GOP's answer to, or answer along with, I should say, what was going on in Arizona. And so it was already hotly debated. Democratic Party, workers, farmers, obviously immigrant rights activists were coming out against this. And in fact, some of the detrimental effects from that were actually a lot of farms, a lot of harvests being left out to
$50 million worth.
$50 million worth of agricultural industry in this state. Goodness, just dried up because this legislation had a real world impact on scaring away and scaring farmers from using the work of people who come to this country and actually pay into the economy and help the economy grow. So it's incredible.
Well, Joey, many of our listeners may be wondering, well, what does this have to do with this constitutional amendment? And I'm glad that someone is asking that question, because I know they are.
Sure.
What this means is, on next year, if you vote yes on this, which I'm imploring you to please vote no for this constitutional amendment, if you vote yes on this, the majority party in power, which is the Republican Party, can come into the legislature and craft any kind of legislation that slice up the Constitution any way they want that will impact your life negatively. And once you start complaining, what they will tell you is that, well, you voted for it. And you're going to say, no, I voted for charter schools. They're going to say, no, you voted for a constitutional amendment, which is true. That's what you're voting for, a constitutional amendment. You're not voting for charter schools. We have charter schools right here in Augusta. I'm for charter schools. My daughter matriculated through A.R. Johnson and Immaculate Conception. You know, I went through parochial and public school system. I'm all for all different kinds of education, but this is not about charter schools. It is said that power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely.
And that's absolutely what they're going for.
We cannot do that.
Georgia.
We must not allow this to happen. Georgia, I'm asking you to please vote no on this constitutional amendment, because it will impact your life for the next 10 years, and I don't know how many after that, but we do not need this. You see where the country is now. You see where Georgia is now. We do not need to have any party thinking that they can run roughshod over you and tell you that they're doing it because you told them to do it.
So we can stop this. We can prevent this now.
Yes.
This is something we don't want to have to deal with, have to fight against for the next decade. We have the power now to block it. So again, vote no on this constitutional amendment that they say is about charter schools, but we know now, and you know better, is not about charter schools. It's about taking over.
Yes.
You know, taking over, so that decisions we want to make no longer matter in this state. In any case, that actually feeds right into another debate that I'm gonna have to have you come on the show some other time and talk about, or at least we'll have to get into in more detail at a later date. But this T-SPLOST is coming up. And that's also another vote that, again, the state legislature is putting on us to decide as to whether to add a penny to our taxes for so-called transportation improvements. Now, what's interesting about this is a lot of, we've heard of SPLOSTs before, and we've heard of T-SPLOST, we've heard of SPLOST on the local level. If you see the list of what people are looking to improve upon, or lanes that we want to widen, or communities we want to improve, these are things that we've seen before, that we've been promised before, that we've accumulated money or decided to give to the state to disperse for projects before. Now we're being asked for another tax so that we can improve these things. And if you see this list, what's missing on this list, to me, is a way to get from here to Athens, and here to Savannah, or here to Macon, or here to even Statesboro, more quickly and easily. Now, you know, there may be some good things on there, but it's another example of where you were saying the state legislature will put it on us to decide up or down. And it may look like, you know, we'll get a lot out of it, but another question we have to ask ourselves is, in the past, what have we gotten from these SPLOSTs? Do we expect to really get this back? And is this what we need when budgets are being cut, when the economy in our own homes is being stressed? But I'm fortunate, we're all fortunate to have Representative Ernie Smith up there in the Capitol for us. We appreciate you having you on today.
Well,
Everybody look up the things we talked about. Make up your own mind. Obviously, I'm a Democrat. Representative Ernie Smith's a Democrat here. If Demetrius Minor was on the set, he'd just be pitching a fit because we wouldn't have the balance that that we had on earlier. But please, Republican, Democrat, Independent, everybody, check it out, look it up, and vote. Make sure you get out there, show up. Okay, make the change you want to see in this world. Thanks again, Representative Smith.
My pleasure, Jay.
All right, welcome out, ladies and gentlemen, to the Artist Spotlight portion of the show. I am so delighted to have our next guest here with us. She's a friend of mine and actually a very talented singer, songwriter, and she's a radio talk show host here in the CSRA. Without further ado, we're going to go ahead and bring her up to the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready to be entertained. I am introducing to you Passionate.
God's arms embrace me, so warmth captures me, radiance surrounds me. A morning touch of you raptures serenity. My weakness in my darkest hour, I welcome you like the fresh morning dew. Cradle me in your arms, love. Good morning to you. Good morning. Good morning, how are you? things to say.
Good morning, love.
But I'd rather just give you the praise.
Good
You kept me
morning,
and you woke me to see another day. Good morning.
I won't be jealous.
I won't envy. Love is patient, love is kind. I won't be jealous. I won't envy. Love is patient and love is kind. I won't be jealous. I won't envy. Love.
Good morning, love. Good morning, how are you?
Good morning, love.
Good morning, love.
Good morning, how are you? Good morning, love. Good morning,
How are you?
good morning, love. Good morning, how are you?
Good morning, love.
Good morning,
How are you?
good morning, love.
Good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Awesome performance, girl.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm never disappointed with you. Okay, all right, and that song you just sang, if you could tell us the title of it, the message, definitely a message in that song. And if you could tell the people what we're talking about there.
Well, the song is called Good Morning Love, and it's almost like the inspiration came from just waking up each and every day. Like, I can love again, regardless of what happened yesterday. I'm like refreshed. God's mercies are renewed each and every day.
Okay.
So it's like just good morning love. You know, it's like everything is just new. Like the dew and birds are singing, you know,
Right,
just
right,
a brand
right.
new day. So yeah, good
and
morning love.
I like to say it's almost like God blesses you with a reset button.
Yes.
So you're able to,
Yes.
you know, whatever happened today, I had a bad day today, but, you know, reset, you know, wake up and start all over and
Yes.
don't bring that old dirty stuff from yesterday into
That's
today.
right, that's right.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I could tell that song, it sounds like poetry.
Yes.
It sounds like poetry. and a little known fact about the Sister Passionate here is that she's a poet. She really started out as a poet. We started out doing poetry together
Right.
several
years
ago.
Long time.
Right,
Yes.
a long time ago.
Yeah.
And at one point in time, you decided you were going to step up your game and pick up an acoustic guitar.
Right.
And that amazes me. I'm wondering, like, and I know you were self-taught. How did you do that? Did you go get music books? Did you get video, DVD? Like, how did you do
Just
it?
inspiration. Like, I just found inspiration from everywhere, like books, listening a lot to Lauryn Hill. My friend, actually, one of my guy friends in the past, he gave me a CD of this girl named Isabella. And she had this poetry type flowing style with a guitar. And I was like, wow. And I would listen to that CD every day. So I was like, what if I incorporated that into my thing? So I picked up the guitar and I just started learning. I used to get sheet music. I just, inspiration came from everywhere. Then I found this guy that was teaching. He knew how to play.
Okay.
So he just gave me a few chords here and there. It's like I was finding teachers everywhere on the universe. It's not, they'll just give me just a hint of this and a hint of that and a hint of this, and it just compiled into my whole being.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. And so with your music, and I know a lot of artists don't really like to categorize their music. You know,
no.
don't like the
No.
genre thing. But if we were going to put your music inside FYE or Sam Goody, you know, we would have to figure out a department or a section to place
Right.
your CD.
Right.
So what would you call it? Would it be inspirational? Would it be gospel? Would it be?
It'd actually be called inspirational music.
Okay.
Because it's like I got everything on there. It's like I didn't want to be put in this box because I'm complex. So I was like, it doesn't make sense to give the people something that I'm not. Let me be me.
Right.
So I was like, okay, let me keep it inspirational, you know. And I've been actually welcomed by the church family, even with the gospel side of me. So,
Right,
you know,
right.
because my CD is called Love, God, and Relationships. It's
Okay.
compiled all of that together.
Right.
So it's like I'm being embraced by people that appreciate love, people that worship God, and people that, you know, need help with relationships. So
Absolutely, which is everybody.
everybody.
Okay. Yeah, and it's funny that you did bring that up because I did wanted to talk to you about a little bit about that, about, you know, the whole church thing. I know you're into the church and gospel, and then a lot of times, you know, we're here in the South, and it's very traditional sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
And they can listen to something you're doing and call it secular. And basically close you out. So have you had any experiences like that
I
where
haven't
somebody
had
was
any
like,
experience like
no,
that.
so pretty much
They've
everybody's...
been welcoming me, even
Okay.
in the church. I guess they're turning over a new leaf, so
Yes,
so
it's
I've been welcomed.
2012.
Yes.
And so being that it's 2012, if you could look and tell the people what we have going on, what you have going on, like how do we find Passionate? You have a CD already out, you have a CD coming.
I have a CD already out. It's called Love, God, and Relationships, and you can actually find that on iTunes. So just look up Passionate Love, God, and Relationships, and that's where you'll find me.
So they can download and buy your music on the internet. Okay, and also they can listen to you live on the air. Where?
They can listen to me live on the air on 94.7 every Saturday at 10 a.m. on Sisters Let's Talk About It, and their first Saturday on Young and Saved.
Okay. All right, well, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Love you.
Thank you, Luke.
Well, we've come to the end of another Points of Interest. We thank you guys for sticking around on the show today. I hope you enjoyed all the music, all the talk of politics, maybe got you thinking about things a little differently. Another thing that may get you thinking on a local level is an article that's on our Facebook page here. It comes to us from City Stink Augusta, and they're an online Facebook article producer there, and what they get into a lot of is the Tea Center. The Tea Center is still causing us problems around here. Apparently, we didn't have a core partnership agreement, and in any case, they get in depth there. It might be an interesting read for you guys, but you can find it on our Points of Interest Facebook page. Other things you can find on there will be interesting companion information to go along with this episode, along with any promotional material from our musical guest today and BrothaTrav. We always like to leave on a positive note, and for that, I have Mr. Smith. He's going to help me out and bring the show to a close.
Thank you. It is said that iron sharpens iron. We need each of you to be our brothers and sisters keepers. The way that you can do that is ensuring that you come out and vote no for this constitutional amendment. We need you to step up, step out, and be proud of the Georgia that we live in the jewel of Georgia, Augusta. Let's rock when it's time to vote, okay? Love to have you come on out and do that. Thank you for being our wonderful viewers.
And
Take care.
thank you, Mr. Smith. And he brought up Brothers Keeper. Now, you guys know Brothers Keeper is coming up this weekend, this Saturday, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock shows. Get your tickets for I'll Be My Brother's Keeper. If you've been keeping up with the show, you know they were on here not too long ago. And that's going to be a great show. Again, talking about stepping up and speaking out. All right. As always, peace on the streets. Catch us back here, Comcast Channel 4, 10:30 Wednesday nights. Peace.